Hey everybody, this week on Up Your Alley, we've got two great recommendations. First, Jake's recommendation for me, the album 3D Country by the band Geese, not the band Goose. And my recommendation for Jake, the YouTube channel Full Moon Matinee, where he screens the film Lured from 1947 starring Lucille Ball. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some Game Awards nominations. And Jake, anything else to add?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Almost Thanksgiving. Yeah. Next week will be the Thanksgiving episode.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, we'll get into it. We got snow flurries outside.
Yes.
Nothing's going to stick to the ground, but it's nice. It's nice to have the seasons changing.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I hate cold.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to Up Your Alley, everybody. We'll get into what I was going to say first. My name's Taylor Egger. With me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, buddy.
If you're new to the show, we recommend things to each other, and then we come back the next week to rate them on a scale of 1 to 3 based on how much it is up our individual alleys. This is episode 99. If you're new here, remember to like, subscribe, comment, do all that call to action stuff. Tell your friends about the show.
Does that include the Mr. Beast episode?
That's funny. We can get into that. So this is episode 99. We're going to record episode 100 today as well. And that'll come out since next week is Thanksgiving. We're not going to record an episode next week, but we'll have one out. Episode 100 is going to be a look back at the 100. I can't believe we've recommended 100 things.
I know, dude.
It's absurd.
I didn't even know I knew 100 things.
Well, you did. Now you know 200 things because you have the 100 that I gave you as well. So that'll come out next week for Thanksgiving. But we are just talking about our recommendations for this week. Again, they are the YouTube channel Full Moon Matinee, which is an amazing resource. Over 150 black and white noir-style films, all introduced and hosted by a man calling himself The Detective. And Jake's recommendation for me, the album 3D Country by Brooklyn band Geese.
Geese. I did the old man thing.
You did. Last week you were so confident.
Call it the Goose.
But here's the thing. There is a band called Goose.
Yeah.
There's actually two bands called Goose.
That's the hardest part.
There's a band called Goose that's from, they're Dutch, I think. And then there's an American band called Goose, which is like a jam band, which is what I thought you were recommending.
Almost, right? That's something that I would listen to.
It was weird because I only know of the band Goose because they were recommended and they were on an episode with comedian Bert Kreischer, his podcast.
Oh, really?
Because they're like a jam band. It's like a party band. So I was like, that's weird that Bert Kreischer and Jake have similar tastes in music. But I'm like, I'll go with it. No, Geese is a lot more up your alley.
Geese is 3D Country.
Yes.
3D Country is definitely something
good.
I would listen
Goose
to.
is good too. But Geese, we're not talking about Goose today. We're here for Geese.
I love that we didn't change it from last episode.
No, because I didn't realize it until the episode was already out. And I was trying to Google 3D Country. I was looking at, so I typed Goose into Spotify and was just looking at their discography.
The worst part is I had it on my Spotify right in front of us while we were talking about it.
You just misread it?
And I just kept saying Goose.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking at 3D Country because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's 3D Country, not 3D County.
Right. So that's what you were worried about was County Country.
Yeah.
But you messed up Goose Geese.
And rather than just reading the whole thing.
Yeah. Sorry. I couldn't find 3D Country by Goose, obviously, so I eventually had to type in 3D Country, and then I saw it was Geese. And it's like, Jake.
Good album name.
Yeah, it's all good. So let's get into, first up, last night, I believe, were the Golden Joystick Awards.
True. I didn't see anything about that.
So the Golden Joystick, it started out being a public game thing, but it was only in the United Kingdom, and it's gamesradar.com.
I like GamesRadar.
Yeah, it's solid,
Yeah.
resource for game reviews and everything like that, upcoming news. And so this is their award show. It's not the biggest. I would say the Game Awards are the biggest.
Yeah.
The Game Awards are the Oscars. The Golden
For better
Joysticks,
or for worse.
Yeah.
The VGAs is like the Oscars.
Golden Globes, or Joysticks like the Golden Globes. It's just like, it comes first and everyone's like, oh, then it kind of leads into what will be going on.
Gets the conversation going.
So what I do kind of like about Golden Joystick is they have different categories than the Game Awards do, because the Game Awards have just Game of the Year. And one of their Game of the Years, because their nominations came out too, their Game of the Year nominations are Metaphor, Black Myth Wukong, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Balatro, and Black Myth Wukong.
Balatro all the way.
And Astrobot.
Yeah.
I just downloaded Balatro. I'm going to start playing it. It's getting good buzz.
Balatro is fantastic.
But
definitely my game of the year.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to check it out. But like, so in the Golden Joystick, they have a separate category for best DLC, which Shadow of the Erdtree won.
Yeah.
And they also have a category for best remake/remaster, which Final Fantasy VII Rebirth won.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's much better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just nicer to give, other games trying to establish themselves
Right.
An opportunity to be game of the year.
And there are, so Final Fantasy VII Rebirth won for best lead performer and best supporting performer, which I get because that's an actor acting out a whole new thing.
Yeah.
It's not just remastering that performance.
The people that they got to do, Aerith and Tifa, were awesome. Both of them are incredible.
The person for Aerith and the person for Cloud won.
Okay, Cloud's fantastic too, but man, just the dynamic between Aerith and Tifa and how well they established those characters.
It's another one of those games I know.
Cloud is a very, very beautiful twink boy.
Big sword.
Got two wonderful women in love with him.
He's got a big sword, and I know one of the ladies dies, and I know Sephiroth's the bad guy because he was in Smash Brothers.
Sephiroth. You know the song. If you heard it, you'd be like, oh, that's a great song.
So one thing also that Golden Joystick has that I like is they have a best gaming hardware thing, which is the Steam Deck OLED this year.
Yeah,
Is that the Steam Deck you have?
No.
Okay.
I have a standard old Steam Deck.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. But I will say, as far as just OLED goes, I have a first-gen Switch, and then my brother-in-law has an OLED Switch.
Yeah.
Incredible how different they look.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the OLED Steam Deck is just amazing.
Yeah. They get a lot nicer color, like blacker blacks.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Something in there because it's not reflecting light off of anything because they're organic light emitting diodes.
So fancy.
Let's get into it.
Well, no, because I messed around with light emitting diodes last night. I sent you, so there's this company called Govee that they have like ambient light behind your TV.
I was literally looking at the same product.
Yeah. My brother-in-law was too. So I redid my bedroom and mounted the TV on the wall, got rid of the table that I was sitting on just because I needed more space. And then popped up in my Instagram thing. It's like, hey, you want lights behind that? Because I was searching for TV mounts.
Yeah.
And I think this is how the algorithm got me, searching for TV mounts. Bought TV mounts, and then it started throwing me videos of the lights behind the mounts.
But it's pretty great that it offered you something that you were actually interested in.
Right, because I bought a TV mount, and they're like, hey, you want to make that even better?
Instead of like being like, you sure you don't want 30 different other TV mounts after you bought one?
Point taken.
You know what I mean?
That's the new AI. It's getting better and better. It's giving you add-ons.
I'm just saying I miss the days when you search for toilet seats, and then it's like, this guy needs so many different toilets. So let me show him.
I keep getting my main thing in Facebook Marketplace now. Have you ever accidentally you don't do Facebook?
No.
So Facebook Marketplace, I was looking for
if I do anything on Facebook, it is Facebook Marketplace.
I searched, I think you and I last year at some point we were talking about Rock Band, and I was like, I can't find Rock Band. Well, Rock Band on eBay is like so much money.
Yes.
And so I was looking, maybe there's someone just like giving it away on Facebook Marketplace, like, oh, here's my son's old crap, and they didn't know what they had, that sort of situation.
Yeah.
So I clicked on Rock Band one time. And every time I log into Facebook now, Facebook Marketplace is still trying to sell me Rock Band. Like, they haven't picked out. It's like, dude, that was an impulse buy one weekend. Regardless. So now I have the lights behind my TV.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, it does. I spent probably about an hour and a half last night just trying to find cool movie scenes. But it doesn't.
I love it.
It doesn't pick up black as well as I want to. That's what made me think of the OLED.
How are you supposed to project black, man?
Well, just the absence of color.
Yeah.
Like, so if you have like an OLED TV, my TV upstairs isn't super new, but then apparently it picks up that it's a black, and it just shuts down the lights on that side. As like right now, it kind of gives like a blue, like a dark blue light where when it's picking up black.
I see.
My favorite scene found so far is the Balrog from Fellowship of the Ring. When it turns the corner and just the fire comes up, just red all around the outside. I'm like, this is the coolest.
I think it's going to look good for gaming. That's what I was looking forward to.
I was playing a little Stardew Valley on it. It was pleasant.
Yeah, see?
It was pleasant.
Just fills the ambiance a little bit better.
Yeah, because it's up like down here where we record, that's where my big TV is in my PlayStation 5. Like this is where I do most of my game, which I don't think I could set it up there because there's nothing for it to really.
I mean, you could, but it wouldn't look as nice.
It wouldn't look as great because there's no wall over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely fun though. It was an impulse buy that played out really well for me. I'm happy that. So what else? Oh yeah. So indie game of the year, Balatro.
Yes, sir.
Indie game of the year, self-published. So they go really niche with the categories.
That's cool.
Was Another Crab's Treasure, which was a fun game. Like I played probably through half of that.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Fun little weird SpongeBob Souls-like.
I like those people that made that game. They also made a game called Going Under, which was fantastic.
Yeah, you told me about that when we talked about Another Crab's Treasure.
Hell yeah.
Best video game adaptation, Fallout. 100% agree with that.
I haven't seen it yet.
I know, but it's great. Like, Fallout was just great. Most wanted game is GTA 6. So that's probably, I would say, the 5th year in a row that it's been in the running for most wanted game.
They said it was coming out next year, so.
Console Game of the Year, Critics' Choice Award, Best Multiplayer Game, and Best Trailer were all Helldivers 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for Helldivers, honestly.
That game's fun.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah. Well, it won Best Trailer, so I went back and watched the Helldivers trailer because I was like, I don't know if I ever saw that.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I just started playing Helldivers because you were like, hey, you got to play Helldivers. Mm-hmm. And I watched it and I was like, God, I wish my friends were still playing Helldivers. This game rules. And then Best Storytelling, Best Soundtrack, all Final Fantasy VII. Kind of checks out.
Good.
Studio of the Year is Team Asobi, who did Astrobot.
Sure.
And
Astrobot's very good.
Astrobot also won Best Sound Design, which 100% I agree with. That sound design in Astrobot just the working with the controller
on the controller effectively well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ultimate Game of the Year they gave to Black Myth Wukong, which I still have not played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to play that.
I'm going to wait just because it's not it's not a PlayStation title. When it knocks down $20, I'll get it then.
There's a game that came out this year that nobody's talking about anymore that I picked up and started playing, and it's incredible. It's called 9 Souls.
9 Souls?
Yes.
What's that?
It's a game that's very pretty. It looks like a cartoon, and it's weird Chinese myth with kind of like organic machinery type stuff.
Yeah.
Really weird story, but very fun Metroidvania type of game. Another game that people aren't talking about anymore is Indica, which came out at the beginning of the year.
Like the marijuana?
Almost. It has a K instead of a C.
Rad.
And it's
probably like a marijuana store.
It's a game where you're, what do you call them? Nun?
Nun?
Yes. You're a young nun, and you are tasked.
Like Sound of Music nun.
Yes. And you're tasked with delivering a note from the church place that you're at to a different church. And it's a wild experience. More people should have played that game, too.
No, I don't even know what that would be.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. So you're still leaning towards Balatro for Game of the Year?
Yeah. After Balatro, it would be Astrobot, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I played Shadow of the Erdtree. I wouldn't give that Game of the Year because I don't think it deserves to be nominated for Game of the Year. I think the game, it's one of those situations we talked about, like the Bear won Best Comedy.
Yeah.
Like, Shadow of the Erdtree is great.
Yeah, that's a good
point. I still haven't beaten the final boss in Shadow of the Erdtree. It got way too hard.
Gene Park, the writer for video games, made a good point where he was like, he's not against DLC being Game of the Year, but Shadow of the Erdtree is just a bad example of it because you have to play like 100 hours of
unless you're
Elden Ring.
Unless you're speedrunning. Yeah. Well, I mean, I had beaten Elden Ring proper when I first played through of Elden Ring, and one of the things you have to do to get into the Shadow of the Erdtree is you have to kill Mohg, the Lord of Blood. I didn't know how to get to him.
Right.
I didn't know where he was. I keep hearing people say, oh, the Lord of Blood. I was like, great, can you show me where he is? And then there's like one guy when you're underground who's like, he lives over there. And I'm like, I can't get there. How do I get there? And you have to like go like over this little cliff and like jump on this other thing. And so, it's not DLC. It's almost like a hidden level.
Yeah, it's more, it's DLC, but not in a way that's like Blood and Wine was for Witcher 3, which
never played, but I know it.
That one, they're just like, hey, we have spec'd out Geralt that you could play as if you just want to experience.
Jump into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, perfect.
Shadow of the Erdtree to me, it's like the Star Road in Super Mario World. It's a lot harder, and you got to do some shit before you can even get to it. But it's not a DLC. Like, it's just a harder version of the continuation of the game.
It is weird that it's up for Game of the Year, and it's going to win it. I bet you anything. I'm wondering what celebrity Jeff Keighley is pining from Hollywood
to come out and give it. Who was it? Was it Al Pacino last year?
That would have been so funny. No, it was Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, Al Pacino came out and did something with it, right?
No, I don't
with
remember.
the Game Awards. He came out and like introduced the trailer or some shit.
Maybe he did something. I remember he did something with some awards show last year.
Yeah.
I can't remember what though. I just remember Timothy Chalamet coming out and be like, video game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3, and then just pieced out.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know. And I've never heard of this game, Metaphor Refatizo.
Metaphor Refantasia?
Tasio.
I just call it
Sure.
Metaphor.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's awesome. The music in that game is incredible.
Yeah.
It's definitely best music because holy crap, I haven't heard a better battle theme. They got a Japanese monk on it who's like famous for singing.
Is it like the throat singing?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh my gosh, it gets you so pumped up. The fighting is crazy. I'm not a huge fan of turn-based RPG, but I like the way that this game does it. Everything about that game was awesome.
I'll have to check it out. All right. Well, we'll follow up on that after the Thanksgiving break. Let's get into the episode first.
Wait, what was the thing that you found on your phone that you were excited?
That it pertains to one of our things.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's talk about Geese first. Not Goose.
Not Goose.
We already talked about Geese a little bit because they aren't Goose. So Jake, how'd you find them? It's new. It's hot new music. It's kid music.
Yeah.
These are kids.
I hang out with the youth.
Okay.
I was over at my friend's house. We were playing Doom.
Are you going to be Attorney General?
The board game.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Never played.
Yeah, I blazed right by your insulting comment because I knew you would like to hear that there's a Dune board game.
You're right.
And it's great. You can get it for free on your Steam Deck, I believe.
Huh.
And
you can get a board game on your Steam Deck for free?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I will say this. Jumping back in real quick. I forgot. Game I've been playing is the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah,
on your phone. Have you played any of that?
I was playing it for a little while.
It's fun.
On the day that it came out, and then I kind of stopped.
So it's fun.
But it was fun.
You don't have to spend any money, but it hits the little thing. If like I had never played, I collected Pokemon cards, I played Pokemon games. I never played the Pokemon trading card game.
I want to find my Pokemon cards.
I've got some in this basement.
I know that I have some valuable ones in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still valuable, but the one that Logan Paul did the world record of, whatever.
Charizard.
No, it was the Pikachu.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
I thought he paid for a PSA 10 Charizard.
I'm pretty sure it was a Pikachu.
Regardless, his brother did not get punched as much as I wanted his brother.
Yeah, did you watch that?
I watched the replays of it. It was garbage.
Oh, I stayed up all night to watch it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You stayed up all night to watch a boxing match.
Well, I went over to my friend's house. We watched a movie.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like 10:30 when the movie was done. And we were just like, oh, yeah, the fight's on. Do you want to watch it? And then we stayed up till 2:30 in the morning to watch a poor old man get punched in the head.
Did you see like the breakdowns of him like not punching when he could have punched? Like Mike Tyson was holding back? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do what you want. You got $20 million, so
he's old.
Good for you. Anyway, the Pokemon game, it has one of my favorite things now that I think video games miss a lot, and this goes back to Pokemon, is there's a flood of videos online of, so when you unlock a card, there's like this big carousel of card packs, so you could pick which one.
Yeah.
I guarantee they're all just the same. But there are people online that says, here's how you pick out which card has your good one in it. And one of the things is you can rotate the pack of cards like before you open it, and if it lines up perfectly, if the top of it is bent, everyone's saying like, look, this one's bent. Yeah. That means it's a good pack, which I just love.
It's back to
it's video game urban legends.
It's always Pokemon lore too.
Yes, that's what I love, because I remember the Pokemon lore of after you catch a Pokemon, you have to hold down and B. And that'll make it catch. It doesn't work. There's the whole thing with like, oh, Mew is underneath that one truck.
Yeah, you have to
like
the truck.
You have to find a way to get strength and then come back there and do all this other stuff.
But then you have things like missing No, and it's like actually
That's
in
real.
the game.
Exactly.
And then Mew is in the game. I believe it was.
I have Mew. I have a copy of Red upstairs where I got Mew. So you have to glitch the game to make it work, but I have a copy upstairs.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Man, video games were wild back in the day.
But it has that little bit of urban legend to it as well, which I love. I think it's just fun. It's fun to play.
But side recommendation for you, the Dune board game.
Yeah?
I think you'd really dig it. I was digging it.
Like Catan?
I don't know. I've never played Catan.
That seems like something you would do all the time.
We're advanced. We're playing advanced board games where I'm from.
Like Dune?
Like Dune. But we were playing it. We had music on in the background, and a song would start playing, and I'd be like, this is really nice. And he's like, this is Geese. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then we'll just play some more, and then another song would come on and be like, I like this song too. He's like, this is Geese. It's the same album,
Geese.
Jake. I was like, oh, okay. So he's like, yeah, it's 3D Country. And then he sent me the info, and then I started listening to it. I was like, holy crap, this is an awesome album. And while I was listening to it, I was like, Taylor would enjoy that I am listening to what the youth call hip.
Okay, yeah. So this is their second album, 3D Country. Young band from Brooklyn. So
young.
I was reading their Wikipedia, and apparently their plan was to break up in 2020 when they graduated from high school. Which when I read that, I was like, oh god damn it, because they don't sound like what I would, and it could be prejudicial on my part. They don't sound like what you would think a young band.
No, they're giving
sounds
it.
Like
they're giving it, man.
Yeah,
it feels great.
I gotta say, it's really, really good.
I'm happy because I always listened to it and I was like, you're gonna dig it.
It's a 3. I'll tell you this.
Absolutely.
I had it set up on my speaker upstairs when I was like doing stuff in the kitchen. And my mom came in and I was like, do you like this? She's like, it's great.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's really good music.
It's awesome. I usually play with my Steam Deck while I'm sitting on the couch and I have something like YouTube on. I started just putting on Spotify and listening to 3D Country while I play video games. I was like, because it's just awesome to tune in and tune out.
Yeah.
It's highly recommended for everybody. The first song on it gets you so pumped and just like into the album.
Yeah.
And it kind of established exactly who these guys are. And I love it.
So, I would listen to it. Oh, God, I've been listening to it pretty much all week. My
buddy, who I got this album from, he like traveled the nation following King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Sounds like something your friends would do.
You know that band?
I'm aware.
Okay. Before you snark at me.
I'm well aware of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Geese was their opening band.
Okay, that checks out.
For the for this tour. And he's like, that's how he found them. And that's how I found them afterwards.
I mean, yeah, can't argue with it.
Yeah. I like King Gizzard Wizard.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, but 3D Country, that's hitting it.
So where this, because I liked it, where it really clicked for me is Wednesday morning. I had to, my kid forgot her laptop at home, so I had to like drive it out to her school, and her school's out in the mountains of Virginia, gorgeous scenic mountains, and just driving down the highway listening to this music, I was like, this is a great. Hey, sometimes a song just hits you, and you're like, this song, like 3D Country, the single and the title track, banging song, banging song. It's such a good song, and I was like, oh my god, I love this so much.
When I was listening to it, I was like, this is so perfect for Taylor.
So the singles from it are Cowboy Nudes, 3D Country, Mysterious Love, and my second favorite song on the album, which is I See Myself.
Yeah, sure.
I See Myself is another just crazy, it's like a sweet love song where it's like deeper than you would expect, like some 20-year-old kid to like pump out. But you're like, holy shit.
The entire time, every song was like, this is good. And then it kicks in and you're like, this is incredible.
And the lead singer, whose name is, shit, I think it's Cameron something.
If I can guess, Michael Goose.
Nope.
Also with his brother, Trevor Goose, making them Geese.
Geese. Yeah, absolutely. That, you know what? You nailed it. No, Cameron Winter is the guy's name. And he plays the keyboards as well. Crazy good voice. Crazy range.
Awesome
Like
voice.
He goes low and then he goes high and then sometimes it's like kind of screechy, but like that really good like controlled
passionate type of
almost like a little Jim Morrison-y at times.
Sure.
But yeah.
Rock and roll. It feels like rock and roll.
It's definitely rock and roll.
Calling it country is a great nomer as well.
Misnomer.
I would say it is a misnomer. I would say it's a nomer.
Just full on nomer?
I would say that it is a nomer.
100%.
Because it is country music, I would say, yes. So it is a nomer.
Yeah, I really liked it. What else did I want to... have you watched any videos of the band?
No.
Okay, so on YouTube, if people want to check it out, just one thing to see what the band's about, there's a YouTube link. It's live on KEXP, which I think is some kind of radio station. Sure. I would assume KEXP. And they do 3D Country. There's some crunchy looking kids.
Yeah?
Like, they just look like they're cosplaying
Little
as rock
vagabonds?
stars. Yeah, it works, though. Like, it works. Like, they just look like they just came from an album shoot.
Good for them.
Which I like.
The youth are okay.
The kids are all right. I feel like someone said that at some point. But, yeah, it's a great album. I would say listen to it. Yep. It's one of those albums, front to back, listen to it in track order because there's a purpose there.
It leads into itself.
So listen to it in track order, but then just let your Spotify keep going because then it plays other Goose songs from their first album. And then they have an EP out too called 40 Country.
Okay. Yes, I didn't listen to it yet.
40 Country sounds the same as 3D Country to me. I don't know what the difference is, and I can't find anything
saying
set in
that
stone.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all good. Just type in Geese.
Hell yeah. I'm happy you liked it, buddy.
Yeah, it's a hard 3.
Little side note. Spotify.
Yeah.
Step up your shuffle game, guys.
Really?
Yeah. I have like 800 songs in my liked, and they play the same 20 songs
I get that vibe.
over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Do you do the smart shuffle?
no. Where it adds, I used to do that. I felt like it was even more limiting.
Really?
And it would start playing songs that aren't on my liked lists over and over again. Yeah.
What's the one you get the most? That you're like, that happens to me sometimes too. I've noticed, and then I have to like take songs off my playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at that point now too.
For me, it was what is it?
Grimes' song. There was one song that Grimes had that I really liked, and I listened to it. I put it on my like songs, and then it played it every day for like 2 weeks, and I was like, I have to take it off.
For me, it was "Love You Madly" by Cake.
I love that song. Yeah,
it's a good song, but you don't want to hear it
listen to it all the time. Yeah,
and you're just like, and you're like, I'm done. I'm done with Cake. Like Cake's good. Cake's like Cake. It's good sometimes, but you don't need Cake all the time.
If this is a blunder.
Good
I
song,
love Cake, dude.
And Geese is on my liked music too now.
Hell yeah, bud.
I See Myself and 3D Country are on my playlist. Those songs they rule. This album rules. It's great.
Rock and roll.
Great recommendation. That's a 3 from me. So let's get into my recommendation for Jake. A 2-parter. The YouTube channel Full Moon Matinee, and specifically the episode where the detective screens the film Lured. So how Full Moon Matinee works, this is something that I've talked about. Well, I've thought about for 99 episodes now. I've tried to find something that was not something I would seek out myself, but Jake will love more than I love it.
I think it's a wonderful practice, sir, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what can I expose myself to?
You did it with me with, I think, your biggest one that you found that I was angry that I didn't know about. Because Full Moon Matinee seems like something you would know about.
Yeah.
Was when you recommended Tom Wilson to me.
Yeah.
And I found Tom Wilson. I was like, oh my God, this guy rules.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Tom just beat Grand Theft Auto 4.
Oh, did he finally beat it?
He got both endings.
Nice.
Doing 900% traffic speed.
What a persistent little fucker.
I know.
Yeah.
He said, my enemies told me I couldn't. My fans told me I couldn't. I didn't think I could.
Regardless, so Full Moon Matinee, there's a gentleman refers to himself as the detective, has a character that he puts on, pours himself a glass of whiskey, and he introduces a movie, a different noir movie.
He's your host to noir cinema.
Mm-hmm. And so he introduces the movie. He'll come. I don't know if he does it in everyone. He does it in Lord, but he comes in halfway through and does like a little
just a little break
almost, and wraps up at the end with some interesting facts about the movie, and just basically kind of walks you through it. It goes back to, there were times when like on AMC they would do this, like before AMC was Breaking Bad and Mad Men.
Yeah.
When it would
people
be like,
still host, like Joe Bob Briggs is probably my favorite one that does it.
Yeah.
He does horror movies and
but it's kind of a lost art. Like, it's not around as much as it used to be.
Yeah.
It
People are going to rediscover it.
I mean, it was so popular that they parodied it, and that's how we got the Crypt Keeper. Like the Crypt Keeper was a parody of all those people that would introduce movies like this.
Sure.
So this gentleman, the detective, he's doing it of his own volition, finding these great movies, streaming them, talking about them, and I was just like, this is such a great library, all ad-free. He doesn't monetize them, and he just does it, pretty much for the love of the game.
Absolutely.
I would like to appreciate. And yeah, so that is a background of him. The film Lured, I picked this because I was just browsing through and I saw this, and this is a film starring Lucille Ball. I had never really seen Lucille Ball outside of a comedy.
Yeah.
It's not something she was super known for.
Having a studio audience.
Right. And granted, she's an amazing actress, amazing comedian, one of the best to ever do it. This also stars George Sanders, Charles Coburn, and Boris Karloff. And I was like, okay, this is like a classic noir movie. I had never seen it. I had never heard Jake talk about it. The plot line of this is Lucille Ball is a waitress, a taxi dancer.
Yeah, taxi dancer.
Which they call, which is apparently a thing they used to do.
Yeah.
Where men could just buy tickets to dance with a lady.
Yeah.
And that was a
You
thing.
just walk up to a lady, give her a ticket,
And you're like,
go for a dance.
Now you got to dance with me.
Yeah, like ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
Twirling in the...
I mean, I feel like eventually
about.
we cut out the middleman there, and it just became a strip club.
It had to have been that completely. And then when Squares walked in, they're like, all right, everybody, act right.
Yeah. So she's a taxi dancer, and she has a friend who finds a personal column ad, because it's based on a French film called Personal Column, which the detective explains to you. And it's like, hey, this guy wants to meet. And then she disappears. And then the cops at Scotland Yard are like, all these ladies keep going missing.
Yep.
There's
8 women have disappeared.
There's a serial killer out there.
Yeah.
And so they find, through happenstance, Lucille Ball. And they're like, hey, you're a smart lady.
Well, she came looking for a friend.
Yeah.
And then they were grilling her.
Yeah.
Being like, how much do you know? And she like knew a lot. And then they're like, close your eyes and like explain the room.
Yeah, the chief
where
gives her a
stuff
little
is.
test.
And they was like, I think you should go undercover for us.
Right.
So track him down.
She becomes a secret cop.
Yeah.
And she is being used to lure the serial killer out. Jake, you know how I feel about old movies.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I love this movie.
Oh, really?
I thought this was a great movie.
No, I checked the year. It wasn't 1998.
It was not after Jurassic Park, which I said was the start of cinema. Was 1993.
When your brain was finally forming
Right.
an abstraction of itself. You're like, movies can't get better than that.
No, I saw dinosaurs, and I thought movies could not get better.
It's the Boss Baby thing. It's like everybody. I get real Boss Baby vibes.
This has all the tropes of a good noir movie. And Lucille Ball is just incredible in it. She's smart.
And
She's
George
funny.
Saunders are a cut above everybody else.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of their acting is incredible in this movie.
Top notch.
And their chemistry is like very believable. Mm-hmm. It feels like because at the beginning her name is
Sandra Carpenter.
Yeah, Sandra, and she's very sarcastic. And
Quippy
Lucille,
too.
Yeah,
Quippy too. I love it.
She's fantastic.
She's a mouthy broad.
Yeah, she's mouthy broad. And
that's what they would call her in 1947.
His name's Rutherford. No, the George Saunders' character.
Robert Fleming.
Yeah, Fleming.
Yeah.
He likes that about her.
Yeah.
He just hears her on the phone, and he likes that she's very quippy.
Yeah.
And so he's just quipping back at her. And I was like, that's very cool. The dialogue is so good.
Yeah, their back and forth chemistry is just fantastic. Yep. And then I also like Charles Coburn. He plays the old cop.
Yes.
And he's great too. And then Boris Karloff's like
inspector.
Boris Karloff has like a little cameo
He
role.
is definitely just there because they're like, we need a tall...
we need a weird guy.
Yeah, we need a weird dude.
Yeah.
And Boris Karloff is like, yeah, I'm here. I'm always here.
He's the Grinch. That's a Tom Petty lyric. You look like Boris Karloff and you don't even care. Dancing at the zombie zoo. He's a joke.
Gosh,
but
darn it.
I always try to find a way to work in Tom Petty.
Boris Karloff, wonderful.
Yeah, all around, just great movie. Yep. I thought it was paced well. It had, I think one of the things that I liked about it is like this plot, replace a personal column with Craigslist, and this could be a modern movie.
And
I mean, Craigslist isn't really a modern reference. Replace personal column with Tinder, and this could be
with Craigslist.
This could be a modern movie. Replace that with something from 15 years ago.
That's what I liked is
back when the kids from Geese were in middle school.
She was doing like they had to send out personal columns to try and lure out the guy, and she was just catching ricochet creeps.
Yeah, she's catching strays. Yeah,
that stuff is so good to me. Like Boris Karloff when he shows up.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm a designer and I do dresses, and he's like, oh, even the Queen, Her Majesty herself, is out there, and it's a pit bull. It's not a pit bull; it's a bulldog, and it's just an empty theater. And he's like, the music's too loud, and he freaks out. I was like, this is what I am here for, baby.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yep. So the movie gets a 3.
Yeah.
Now the detective.
Yeah.
Listening to him, what he has to say, it's wonderful. I love him. It's a 3 as well.
Double 3s.
He's great.
He's so cool.
He clearly loves this stuff. He's very, very inspired by these stories, and he just has a great time researching them.
Jake, I'm glad you like The Detective because just now I received an email from The Detective.
Really?
He has his email address at the end of it, and I reached out to him.
Oh, I was thinking about reaching out to him too. Just be like, hey, we're going to talk about it.
So I asked him 3 questions. I do this sometimes. Like I reached out to the last person we actually heard back from was our friend Bobby Fingers, who unfortunately...
You reached out to him?
Remember he sent us that little thing?
Oh, I thought he just did that of his own volition.
Well, I tagged him in a thing.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense.
He told you that you were wrong.
Yes.
And he lost the whole video, which is a bummer.
Yes, that poor guy.
Shout out Bobby Fingers.
How much he works on those, that has to be devastating.
A fucking insane amount of work that he puts into everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Even when he doesn't have the guy from Mythbusters do half the shit. So anyway, I asked the detective, I just gave him things, told him what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. I told him how we heard about it from the Weekly Planet guys. And I had 3 questions for him. I said, question 1, how do you pick your movies? Is it just personal preference, or do you have a master list somewhere with all the films you want to get to?
Oh.
He said, I have no real formula as to, and I'm reading this live, so I hadn't read this yet because I just checked the email.
An awful lot of swears in this.
No real formula as to how I pick my movies. I just surf the internet until I find ones I like, but they do have to meet certain criteria. They must be crime-related and or noir, spy thrillers, mysteries, crime category, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
He doesn't do comedies, musicals, war movies, romances, but he has presented period noirs or like a Western noir, but they're still noirs.
Cool.
So he has this
good man
set genre. You find your niche. And
Western noir, that sounds fantastic. I want to find that.
That sounds interesting. The second question I had for him, which was from the jump, I was like, have you ever run into any copyright issues? Because he's screening full movies on YouTube.
Right.
We get copyright strikes. Or not copyright strikes, we get content strikes.
Yeah.
Almost constantly for God knows what.
Yeah.
Still, my favorite thing that ever happened to us was when we got for election interference in South Africa.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not even the election we were talking about. And that election's over. Regardless, he says copyright issues. He's had 2 copyright strikes ever, but they're expired. And they were both on British films.
Huh.
So the copyright laws vary from country to country. He has to be particularly careful when he presents British noirs.
Wow.
So yeah, the British ones are...
This is so cool. What a cool peek behind the curtain, man.
And it says, per YouTube policy, a block is different than a strike, and blocks don't affect the channel. Could have had a million of blocks and still be good.
Yeah.
The last one I asked him, he said, what's the most best recent movie you've seen?
As in like in
modern
theaters?
movie, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I said, we recently did an episode on the Amazon film Killer Heat, and that's a noirish detective story.
That's good. That's a good pull.
He said, best recent movie I've seen is staying within the crime noir, neo-noir genre. He said, Public Enemies, starring Johnny Depp and Christian Bale.
Okay.
Set during
Sick.
the 20s and 30s. And Public Enemies, he said he loved it.
Yeah, man.
Hopes this helps contribute to the podcast. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying Full Moon Matinee. Until next time, The Detective did not get his real name, stayed in character. The Detective, you get a 3.
The Detective... Thanks for talking to us, man.
And I'm going to say
wonderful.
this now. He's added to the list of friend of the show.
Friend of the show, The Detective.
Friend of the show, The Detective. Friend of the show, Bobby Fingers.
Those are our 2 friends.
Brother Bill.
Chris.
No, someone else reached out and liked. Who else did it? Oh, the band Telemann.
Telemann?
Telemann, I tagged them in a post about when we did an episode of Telemann, and they liked it. So I was like,
oh, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, that band.
No,
Telemann.
they have to say, like, thank you.
Yeah.
I want them to put in the effort of hitting the post button as
Bobby
well.
Fingers didn't say thank you.
Yes, he said thanks for the review.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
God damn it.
He sent a voice message to us.
That's true. Well, the detective can type.
No, the detective is awesome.
So
That's so wonderful.
Shout out the detective.
Everybody watch Full Moon Matinee.
Full Moon Matinee, and it's like
It's wonderful.
It's like an online video store. You can there's so many different things. If you like this type of movie,
he has really fun insight into the movies of the time and just the time period itself.
he's like his own
They
personal.
kept saying taxi dance, right? Taxi dancers.
Apparently, we knew what it was, and then halfway through, he's like, "Here's what that is."
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like this type of movie, check it out. If you're like me and you don't normally like this type of movie, browse through Full Moon Matinee, find something you like.
Honestly.
Check by actors or whatever you want to look for, but
Very true.
it's definitely
this
worth
is
it
the stuff
to check it
that
out.
I love YouTube about. YouTube to me, I believe should be it should be used like PBS. It should be somebody who's like, oh, I have access to tell the world my thoughts, and then they just like, I have a particular fixation with noir films. Here's everything I know. That's one of my favorites. It's going to be a recommendation for you one day, not this day, but it's called Game Sack. And
That's funny.
He just loves video games.
Yeah.
And he's got breakdown videos where, like a Nintendo 64, he takes it apart, tells you all the processing power, everything that about it, and he gives you a little showcase of all the of some games that came on it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic watching that stuff. He's done like every console.
Huh.
Yeah, it'll be a wreck. Don't worry.
All right. I'll remember it. Speaking of previous wrecks, did you watch it just came out this morning, the new Internet Combat Etiquette?
No, I didn't know another one.
It's another kick it when he's down.
Yeah. You gave me a 2, by the way.
Did I?
Yeah, you gave me one 2.
Did I?
Yeah.
I think it was, I gave you the one you recommended was a 2, but he had other ones that were good. No, he's kicking the Democratic Party while they're down. And he has one where he shows a clip from a news show that I like, Breaking Points, with Crystal and Sagar. And he makes fun of them. I like the Internet Combat Etiquette when it's something I know from YouTube separately. Mm-hmm. And when you see someone you know on YouTube, you're like, they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna make fun of these people I like. But yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah.
Did I ever tell you that he made fun of the Archie Facebook group, the Archie Rule 34 style Facebook group?
Oh Jesus,
that's
Christ.
Out there, and
of
he
course
just
that.
Well, so funny thing is, I know people in that community.
Shocker,
right? Big shocker, right?
I bet they played Dune, the board game, with you.
But at first,
if you don't know what Rule 34 is, don't look it up.
At first, they were like, this is fun. Like, he's poking fun at us. He's having a good time. We're having a good time. We know we're fucking weird, and this is weird stuff that we're doing. But then other people came in, and now it's bad.
Yeah.
They had to shut down the place.
Well, it's like the Batman Arkham subreddit went crazy as well.
When you just put a spotlight on it, just terrible people come in and being like, you guys are awful, ruining the internet, and being dickheads, and it's like, we're not bothering anybody.
Yeah.
We're just a really weird group of people that found each other.
That's how I feel about all the Graham Hancock stuff. I'm like, hey, you guys need to stop making this weird.
Yeah.
Like, just let us think it's cool.
But no. Yeah. The worst people come in and
me
ruin
talking
it.
about ziggurats and you guys talking about Archie banging other Archie people.
It just, like, to me,
I could not think of another Archie character.
Betty and Veronica.
That's it.
That's the whole thing.
Jughead.
Yes, very true.
Yep.
The whole thing is, like, when Eric came, it was fun and it was funny because nobody's in an Archie porn group going, I am a normal human being for being here.
Nope. You check your hat at the door.
He comes in and he's like, this is a really weird place. We're like, yeah, it's pretty weird. And then he leaves. And then people come in and are like, you guys are awful. And we're like, no.
He's like a scientist that goes into an undisturbed jungle.
Yeah.
And he destroys the ecosystem because he stepped on a beetle that was responsible for pollinating a certain plant. And it all just dies.
One of Dane Cook's really good bits was just like, wouldn't it be weird if there was like a chimpanzee with a notepad just watching what we were doing all the time? He just comes out from the bushes, goes, hey guys, how's it going? And he just runs back into the bushes right now.
I think he has a new special out.
I'm not going to watch it.
I just see it pop up on Instagram sometimes. He had some surgeries he probably shouldn't have had.
I remember the moment.
Yeah.
I did not care about Dane Cook anymore. It was the tourgasm. They had the
tourgasm wasn't great.
They had the behind the scenes stuff, and it was boring. And it was so boring that even Dane Cook took a crap in a trash can, and just to, like, liven things up. But then he picked up the trash can and walked around the bus, being like, "Look what I did! Look what I did!"
Shitty version of Jackass.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm done.
Also, his first album, Heartful of Swallowed, still an amazing stand-up album. Yeah.
Yes, he came out the gate hard, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. It's a little shorter this week. One, because it's going up late, because it's already noon on Friday.
Man, and it's really hard to talk about music without being able to play the music.
Yeah. It does kind of run. And we're getting into our next episode as well. So we will be back. Should we talk about what we're recommending for episode 101? Or do you want to save it for next time?
No, let's do it.
Okay. So thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. If you want to get in touch with us like the detective did, you can email us upyouralleypod@gmail.com. Thank you to our buddy's brother Bill for giving us the music. So like I said, episode 100 is going to be a first 100 episode, I guess technically first 99 episode recap. Oh, shit.
The 100th episode recap.
Yeah. It is a episode 100 special.
Yeah.
And we're going to be...
Centennial.
That'll be out next week, but the following week, episode 101, let's figure out what we're going to be talking about. Jake, what do you got for me?
So, a wild thing came out.
Yep.
And it's
Gladiator 2.
We were talking about the 100th episode, right?
Yep.
We had you even printed out a nice little pie chart. And
ChatGPT did that.
my games, out of all my recommendations, games is only 11%. And that's not high enough for me. I got to pump that number up. And I know I have to start it now. Also, my documentary number, pretty darn low.
Yeah.
So what I got for you is kind of a double banger.
No, your games number is high. We'll talk about it next week.
So
it's a lot for fucking playing video games. That's 10 video games.
it's going to be 100%.
It can't be.
It will be.
You've given me Geese. It can't be 100%. Just based on Geese alone.
Not unless I delete it. There's
You can't. Only I delete the episodes.
anniversary.
Uh-huh.
I am doing Donald Trump hands right now.
You
The
are.
anniversary of Half-Life 2 was fairly recently.
20th, yeah.
And they did a pretty wonderful thing. Right now it's on sale as of recording for 99 cents.
Okay.
So if you're listening to it, I believe it's, by the time this goes out today, yeah. When it would get it as of recording, it's usually like $10 or $5. But get it. What they also did was added audio commentary to it. So for your recommendation, Half-Life 2, you can play it on Steam Deck with the audio commentary.
It's a video game with audio commentary?
They have little speech bubble modes that you go up to and interact with. And we're going to get a nice look into the industry. I think Valve does it right. I love their commentary. They did it for the other Half-Life episodes. They did it for Portal, and they did it for...
Wait, so it's audio commentary that's while you're playing a video game, or is it a documentary about the video game?
It's in the game.
Oh, because you had mentioned documentary, too.
Yeah, because it's behind-the-scenes stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah. What?
Seems like a lot of work. At least I got 2 weeks to do it.
Not a lot of work. You're not going to play the game for the story. Just play it for the audio commentary.
Okay. You know, it's kind of weird because Half-Life 2, I was just replaying on the Xbox. I was playing Perfect Dark, the one they remastered for Xbox 360.
Damn.
Yeah, very similar in aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was Half-Life 2 on? Was that PlayStation 2?
No.
No, I'm thinking of Time Splitters.
They actually managed to get that on the Xbox, which is pretty cool.
Time Splitters.
Time Splitters is great.
All right. Well, I was going to recommend a video game for you, but now I feel like that would just be double video games. Because I was looking at my chart as well, and my video games is low.
Yes, it is. I'm the video game boy. The dog barked.
Yeah, he does that.
Oh, so now you're out?
Well,
just get a video game.
No, I mean, it's an indie game, and you're already playing an indie game.
I'll play games, man. I'm playing like 4 games right now.
Okay, well then I'll give you a game.
Yeah.
This game is available on Steam and PlayStation. It is a nice little indie game. It is one of the most, I think, beautiful games I've played in quite some time.
Uh-huh.
It is called Neva. Neva.
Okay. Yep. I know Neva.
It's from Devolver Digital. They did Loop Hero, Talos Principle, Plucky Squire. Great
producers. I believe the developer of this did Gris.
Nomada. Yeah, Gris was their first one. This is their sophomore game.
Awesome.
So yeah, super fun. It's about you play as a girl and she has a wolf, and it just the art style of it is gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Just one of those amazing looking games. It's side scroller. It's fun. It takes I would say probably about 4 hours to play through.
I watched the trailer of it.
Yeah.
And of course it's beautiful, just like Gris was.
Yeah.
And awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so Jake's going to play Neva. I'm going to play Half-Life 2. We'll be back next week with the episode 100 recap. Jake, thanks for coming over. Love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
Bye.